Alright, so let's collect the remaining expansions in Brio, Elysia, and most of Pirate Homeworld. And let's speed up the video 2 times as fast, just to make things a little easier. The first expansion we're going to need isn't too far away. There are only a couple expansions that we need to get in Brio Fire. Then we'll move on to Brio Ice. The first expansion through here is one at the very edge of the area. Remember where you fought Rundus? Well, that's exactly where we need to go, and no further at all. In that area, there is a phasite plating, and you need the Nova Beam and X-ray visor to do anything with it. That's why it's best to do any of the I'm drawing a blank. Any of the expansion collecting after you have the Nova Beam. It's the last power-up you'll need to get 100% of all items. You don't need the hyper mode weapon you'll get from the Space Pirate seat. So let's just clear this area out, and because, you know, Warpounds are the most enjoyable enemies in the game, with their massive amounts of health. We'll just clear them right out. There we are. Now at the very edge, here's where the phasite plating is, and you also can't do this without the hazard suit. But then again, you wouldn't have the hazard suit if you have the Nova Beam. Wait. You'd already have the Nova Beam you'd already have the hazard suit by the time you have the Nova Beam. Anyway, that's all the missile expansions that we need in Brio Fire, the Fiery Air Dock. So, we need to head our way over to Brio Ice. There's only one power up there, but we get to see all the beautiful ice and snow that consists of, what, 5 rooms? That'd take maybe 15 minutes of gameplay? I like Brio Ice, but I sort of wish it was bigger. Ah, well. Hello, Phazoid, that's what you're called. Phazoids are, the aftermath that you'll see after you destroy the seed. Some Phazoids can turn into red Phazoids when you defeat the first form. These red Phazoids will give out gold credits, so if you kill them on normal or veteran mode and hyper mode, you'll get a gold credit for both modes. The tokens for normal mode and veteran mode are exactly the same, so there's no point ever touching normal mode actually, unless you want a very easy, casual Metroid experience. Anyway, here's our beloved Brio Ice. Wonderful Brio Ice. Let's see how quickly he can clean through this area. Especially at 2 times the speed. There are no garbled messages here for us either. Those were long gone. Still not sure what those were, but odds are they were probably just the Galactic Federation trying to communicate with me. Anyway, in this following room, I know I explained much earlier in the Let's Play, but this is where the Spider Ball puzzle is, and in it, or after you complete the Spider Ball puzzle, you get an energy tank. Now, in the previous version of the... actually, when I was in this area before, I said you could just skip through this Spider Ball puzzle. You could do that in the original Prime 3. In the Trilogy version, they patched that, I believe. Yeah, they definitely did. I used to be able to do it, and it was even shown on Metroid2002.com. Unfortunately, that was patched. No sequence breaking for you. Still, it's not too bad, and we get to see Brio Ice again, so I'm perfectly fine with not being able to sequence break in this particular area. But back to Brio Fire. Actually, let's just skip straight to normal Brio. After all, there's nothing left in Brio Fire or Brio Ice, so we'll never have to go back to that area ever again. But let's just speed through Brio, ignoring every possible enemy imaginable. Now, there's only one expansion that I needed to get in this upper area, and it was right in front of this next room. You couldn't get this one without the Plasma Beam, but, well, we now have the Nova Beam, and that can melt ice just as fine. And I just accidentally, I got knocked down right there, and in my frustration, I just decided to skip that entire little Morph Ball sequence and just screw attack all the way over. There's the missile expansion. Now onto the lower depths of main Brio. Who needs the grapple point when you can just screw attack everywhere? After all, it's faster. Now, there's a couple reasons I don't like collecting expansions in Brio, and it's really because there's a lot of backtracking back and forth. Even then, there's not that much, but I would say there's a fair amount that's just a little irksome because you gotta go back in and out of your ship. Maybe 3 times? Something like that. Anyway, here's our next expansion, right here. Just screw attack your way on up and bada bing baboo, here's a missile expansion for you. Yay. Next area in particular, this large room where the war golem was, is pretty important, but we can't really do anything here yet. I mistakenly thought, no, never mind. There's an expansion right there, actually. Completely forgot about that one. But this room up here is pretty critical, actually. It's very advised to go here first before anything else, or else you'll have to go back to this room. So might as well do it right now. This giant war golem head needs to be picked up and put somewhere else. And that somewhere else is also in the main Brio area. But we don't need it too soon. However, in this room there are 2 expansions. And they're both missile expansions, actually. The first one you would just need ice missiles for. The second one you might be able to get it without the hazard suit, but you're probably risking it. But all you need to do is just freeze up these pouring streams of fuel gel, and then say hello to your night barbs and your missile expansion. But now let's go speed on along to our ship, where the old Federation outpost was in here. Oh no, what are you things again? I completely forget. Oh god. Hoppers? They're just called hoppers. Yeah. You got so many different variations of hoppers in this game, it's hard to figure if they have one specific name or not. But nope, it's just hoppers. Really not a fan of this particular shaft. I mean, when you first go up along it, it's alright. It still takes forever, and I'm a bit of an impatient person. Going up it again and again, however, is a little annoying. And those little... what are they? I want to say war wasps, but that's not... oh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Thragals or something. Their name always escapes me, but that's not what's important right now. Right now we're in a new area, and we're going twice as fast, so I'll try to get everything done or try to explain everything twice as fast. Good thing doors still take 500 years, even when it's 2 times the speed. In this room, there's only one enemy, and it's the most obnoxious enemy in the entire game. It's called a Fargal Hatcher, I believe. And that creature is the most annoying creature in the entire game, because it launches maybe like around 30 insects that fly at you, and they push you back very, very well. But in this particular room, there are 3 golems that correspond to all 3 of the hunters' weapons. The grapple voltage, which you just saw, the ice missiles, which originally belonged to Rundus, and the plasma beam, which was Gore's. And the Fargal Gunter is absolutely the worst enemy in the game because it has so much health. And even being in hyper mode is just such a chore. Am I even going to be able to kill it within 1 blast? Doesn't look like it because it takes forever to open its mouth. However, it looks like I got lucky with a hyper missile, and bada bing baboo, it's dead. We don't have to worry about it anymore. If you leave the hyper missile or the Fargal Hunter alone, it'll really annoy you, and you won't really be able to get the expansion that lies in this room because the insects will just keep chasing after you. But let's do this little spider ball puzzle really quick. Watch out for the electricity. It will knock you off and you'll have to do the puzzle all over again. But other than that, this spider ball puzzle really isn't too bad of a deal. So long as you're careful, I mean. I do like how this room incorporates all 3 of the hunter's abilities, or the 3 hunters' original abilities into the design of the room. Freezing the magma or the fuel gel with Rundus' powers, burning away this gate with Gore's plasma beam, better enhanced with the Moganar war golem. And behind this little gate lies our next expansion. And remember that head we picked up earlier? Well, that's the most large war golem we've seen so far. Bigger than Maganar even. So let's drop it down and let it work its magic. And it's only gonna work once before it finally goes kaput. You gotta admit, the Brionians really knew how to make war machines. But let's collect that ship missile expansion, and hey, we're almost done with the ship missiles. Not that many left to go. But here we have a little screw attack puzzle, which really isn't a puzzle. But if you try to hit the screw attack when the panels aren't right next to each other, you won't really make it. But here's one of the last few remaining energy cells. They're energy cells, energy tanks. Only one more to go. But before we progress any further with the expansions, let's explore the rest of this area. There's only one more room we didn't explore, and, well, because we went so far, hooray, the Fargle Hunter is back, or the Fargle... Hunter? Whatever, the Fargle is back. And it's the most annoying creature. I ignore it. I hate it so much. It's the worst creature. It has way too much health for its own good. But here's a little morph ball puzzle. Let's just bomb all the, what are these? I guess they're just explosives. And in this little room, there actually will be getting a missile expansion. But first, let's kill this pill bug. It's annoying me. Oh my god, am I having an off day with bomb jumping or what? Let's just get through the remainder of this area. Where it leads is back to where the original war golem was. Or the war golem room was. It's the war golem room right before the Federation outpost. But let's talk about something a little more important. How about Brio Jungle? Brio Jungle has only maybe even one expansion here. I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But the expansions are very short, and this area is pretty tiny. But let's just get rid of these stupid phasoids first because they're bugging me. Phasoids are pretty powerful, and they're very dangerous when you're corrupted. So make sure to stay very low on corruption. You can always get more corrupted, but once you're too corrupted, well, then it's good night, Samus. Let's just blast some fruit for energy, because going to hyper mode like that sort of wore me out. Anyway, here is a very narrow half-pipe, and on top of it leads up to a missile expansion. That was a surprisingly good half-pipe run. Normally it takes me a little longer because it's so thin and narrow and I end up falling off. But let's ignore all these stupid phasoids. Area's not that big enough to warrant skipping through the, or making transition cuts. Then again, the doors take 500 years, so I don't know. While I was eyeballing my map, it's best to take a left in this fork of the road. That'll lead you to where we want to go. So let's just bomb our way and stay in morph ball mode and wait for this door to open while we're getting assaulted by a phasoid. That's always fun. Oh my lord, this door doesn't have to register that much information. At least I don't think it has to load that much information, not register. No more space pirates in this area, just wildlife and phasoids. Yay, phasoids. They're alright. I'm not a fan of them. They're really everywhere, and that's no thanks. Anyway, what we need here is a power generator from the Federation that the Space Pirates salvaged. This power generator will be of use back in the room where we, where the war golem was right before the Federation outpost. There's one more item to collect in Brio, and that's where an energy cell is. So let's just skip on right to that. Hopefully doors don't take 500 years like they always do. Boy, they really take 500 years. Like, honestly, they improved Prime 1 and Prime 2's doors. Like, they open basically instantly. But Prime 3's, they definitely got worse than the trilogy version. But there's the generator. Now we can activate this, or rather it activates automatically, but this, I think, crane system. And it gives us a nice energy cell. We just need to go over and get it. So let's go to the opposite side of the half pipe, and why did I start all the way back down? It's a little lame. Yeah, well, nothing I can't solve with some quick movements. I have no idea why I tried to bomb jump that slot. It looked suspicious. It was shown in the cutscene. I thought it was something special. But no, I was mistaken. Ooh, puffers. Terrifying creatures. They were a lot worse in Prime 1 and Prime 2. If you stood in the gas for too long, they were really bad. Sort of kind of dangerous. They really did a lot of damage if you stood in the middle. But enough about that, let's talk about Skytown. In the room you'll want to go to in Skytown is the room where we activated all the information about the expansions. This was also the room a little bit before the Berserker Lord, when we fought him a second time in Skytown. But you'll recognize it when you see it. It's pretty noticeable, pretty well known. But of course, we got to deal with phasoids in here, and they're a fun lot, aren't they? Seriously, everywhere. It looks like that's all of them. So first things first, there is some scan data actually in here, that if you go up the Spider Ball track, you can get both Ether and Talon 4's data. And the lore will tell you basically what the Federation records and the Chozo records are about the following planets before and after. It's a very summarized version of Prime 1 and Prime 2's events. But that's not why we're really here. We need to collect Skytown's data, make sure we aren't missing anything left. Luckily, there's only one expansion to collect in Skytown. But there's one more thing in this room that we need to do, and that involves using the Nova Beam. See this phasite plating right here? Activate that and we can open up a secret hatch. And this satellite system will allow us to spy on the pirate homeworld. I guess this means the Chozo knew about the pirate homeworld and knew about all the expansions? Yeah, I know this is a game design sort of spiel, but you gotta wonder. How much do the Chozo know? How much can they foretell? Because I believe in Prime 1 they had prophetic dreams. How far into the future can they see? Now I'm eyeballing my map here, but I learned that this expansion is actually extremely close to where I need to be. But Skytown East is sort of confusing in its layout with all its elevators and shafts and clockwise turns and all that jazz. And hey, corruption, well, whatever. Let's just swing across, though I probably could have easily just screw attacked across. And guess what? More phasoids. Oh, they are seriously everywhere, and they are. What can I say? They're a little annoying. They take red phasoids, especially, take too much health, and they all have one attack. They're not exactly special. They can use it's a shockwave. I mean, we've seen them so many times in the past, and so many bosses have used them. This shockwave just happens to just not be along the ground, and sometimes it's vertical. But here's our last expansion in Elysia, and it is a missile expansion. So, now, let's go on to the pirate homeworld. In the Xeno Research Lab, where before where Gandrada was, there are two expansions that I did not get in this area. Let's just clear this room full of space pirates very quickly. I can't see. I think I got him. It's hard to say, so let's just go into hyper mode and kill everything else. Nope. Well, there you go. The X-ray visor and Nova Beam combo are just the most wonderful things. They really are. But we need to enter the Morph Ball hatch because there is one expansion left that we needed to use the Spider Ball for, but I could have done that when I could have done that along the way after literally right after getting the Spider Ball, but I didn't think to do that. Here, watch me screw up some more half pipes, or not just platforming. Platforming's very difficult when you're a ball. But enough about that, let's just get out of here. There's one more expansion left in this area, and it's literally the next room over, which is so nice. But oh, these little infrared lasers, they just summon down alarms. You can easily just destroy them. Bang, they're dead. Yes, an inanimate object is dead. Anyway, here's the last expansion in the research area. It is a ship missile, and we need the, well, besides phasite, we need the screw attack to get to it. And what you'll see blocking the ship missile acts suspiciously similar to Zebatite. Back in Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission, you need to use missiles against it. Normal power beam won't work at all. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the expansion video. There's only one expansion left in the Pirate High Command area. So, we'll get that when I actually go back to the High Command. It'll just save time. But up next is Valhalla. See you then.